Now for most people, Doom is a game about running fast, being badass, and killing all the demons in your path. However, for me, Doom has been a game that has genuinely triggered my fight or flight reaction. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Toasty Vanilla, and I have Generalized Anxiety Disorder. Now that might come as a surprise to some people, given my personality, and for others that might have been blatantly obvious. However, given my love for Wolfenstein, Overwatch, Bioshock, and Warhammer 400,000 Space Marine, Doom has been a game that has been shoved down my throat by Steams and my friends alike. So I eventually decided to play it, and the first 3 hours of this game were probably the most stressful and anxiety-inducing moments I have ever had playing a video game. And when I say it triggered my fight or flight reaction, I'm being serious. And at the time, I had no idea why this game made me feel the way it did, but looking back at it now, I think I figured out why and how. So welcome to the video, get comfy, get cozy, have a sody pop, and do please enjoy. Now, the world building and atmosphere of this game I think is actually phenomenal and excellently crafted, but that's going to be something I'm going to touch on in more detail a little bit later. Now, when you start the game, the environment is dark, gritty, gory, and foreign, and despite the possessed being the danger equivalent of a piñata, I still found them to be quite unsettling and threatening in the way that they stumble and lunge towards you, to the point where I made sure that before fights I would snipe every single one I could find before jumping into an area. And imps are also a bit unsettling and scary too, in the way that they move sporadically. You can't really predict where they're gonna go, and just their design just looks slim and aggressive, despite them also being a virtual punching bag. And outside of just gore on the walls and everywhere looking fresh out of a bloody massacre, there's also a ton of detail put into the environments. You can see enemies move about in the distance. The air is either filled with moans and screams of demons or is dead, quiet, with only the ambience of abandoned machinery to fill the air. The world makes you feel lonely and abandoned. But the thing is, you're not exactly alone, because you got Big Robot Daddy to give you guidance on where you need to go next, and he wants you to kill Olivia because she betrayed him. So when I first got control of my character, I was already in an anxious and jumpy mood, constantly watching my step, preparing when I turned the corner to the next room, always being on high alert. But it wasn't until I destroyed my first gore nest did I have my moment of, oh shit, I do not feel great right now. Then, my hands started shaking, my heart starts pumping, heavy metal starts playing, and the imps start spawning around me, crawling on the walls and leaping everywhere, and my brain just has this moment of, oh fuck, what do I do? Now, this wasn't exactly an anxiety attack. Now, sure, you can say that anxiety is what caused me to have this type of reaction, but this is more of the type of reaction you would get in a really good horror game, or a really intense firefight in an Overwatch game or whatever. And honestly, I had no idea why I felt this way. After all, to me, this was just another shooter, and levels 2 to 3 were mostly like this. However, as time went on, I would slowly get used to the rhythm and pacing of the game. What helped me out the most about this game is the fact that it's arena-based, which basically means that instead of having enemies evenly spread around the map, or coming at you in a constant steady stream, like in a game like Wolfenstein, Doom would concentrate its enemies into arenas, which are these set designated areas that you would be able to spot before you entered them, giving me the ability to mentally prepare myself and snipe all the spooky possessed before I jumped into the fray. Once you entered an arena, the game would start spawning enemies, and while this did freak me out and overwhelm me at first, since the sight of a billion imps spawning in and surrounding you while crawling and jumping on the walls is not the most calming of sights, the gameplay did a great job at keeping me in rhythm and in sync to its fast action, because I would be more focused on the enemy in front of me rather than the ones surrounding me. And while that did lead to my death on many occasions due to me walking into fireballs or just straight off the face of the map, It would keep me focused and calm, and suppress my body's instant reaction of having a fight or flight. I would be able to pick a target at the start of the combat, and beeline straight for its death, and then choose another, and another, and another, until the music stopped and the battle was over, and the game backs off and gives you space, leaving everything still and quiet. And this left me feeling very uneasy because the silence felt unnatural. After all, wasn't I in the middle of a full-scale demonic invasion facing off against the full might of the hordes of hell? So where the hell was all this silence coming from? But once I figured out that the game didn't have any tricks up its sleeve and was genuinely giving me space to go out and explore its world, these moments would become my favorite parts of the game, because it would give me time to cool down and collect myself and go out and explore the world. And there was a lot of world to explore. I would go look for secrets and in collectibles. I would actually read the little information packets spread across the levels that would tell you about demons and environments and characters of the game, which made the game seem much less frightening the more I read about the demons. And it would make me start to look at combat as more of a strategic dance rather than a scramble for my life. And I actually did take a ton of interest into the lore of Doom. However, this isn't the main factor of what made this game less anxiety-inducing for me. I have to give all that credit to Doom Guy himself. I didn't actually start heavily reading up on Doom lore until level 6. All the credit goes to Doom Guy. There's just something in the way that he moves, presses buttons, kills demons, solves puzzles, and interacts with his environment that oozes personality. And despite him being a faceless, silent protagonist, you can still get a grasp on who he is as a character. He is a headstrong, impatient, fearless eldritch horror who can beat the hordes of hell in their own game of who can blitzkrieg the other hard enough. And it took this scene for it all to really click with me who I was playing as.
You need to remove each lens individually. Carefully release the hinges and the...
Warning. Energy contamination detected.
This scene right here made me understand who Doom Guy was as a character and helped me put myself in his shoes. Or in other words, it helped me become Doom Guy, kinda like role-playing. And this actually fucking worked. And it's amazing how within the first 3 hours of gameplay, this game was able to sell me and immerse me into this character. Not through dialogue telling us that we're the only man who can save this planet, or an exposition dump that talks about how cool and badass we are. They do this by showing us how little of a shit Doom Guy actually gives, and shows us his calm, direct, and nonchalant approach to handling his environment, whether that be through ripping off limbs because it's convenient, casually taking a torso with him because he needs it, or just calmly pressing buttons. And this slowly rubbed off on me. This wasn't immediate. It wasn't like, oh, I saw Big Green Man hit blue circle. I am now Big Green Man because I recognize Big Green Man as strong, big character. It was more of a, the more I saw and noticed how unaffected he was by the situation, the more that rubbed off on me, and I was able to just shrug off any panic I would be feeling at the time and just jump into the fray, because in my head it would just be what Doom Guy would do. However, they do develop his character through dialogue and monologue. In the game, there are parts where you can see characters indirectly talk about you in vague-ish terms. You can find demonic scriptures that refer to you as some sort of deity, but they don't make it clear that it's you they're talking about. And you can find holograms of Olivia Pierce talking about you as if you're just some big ruiner of plans, or you're something to be wary of. And I really like this because essentially what this does is it turns him into a bit of a gimmick character. Narratively, he's similar to Saitama from One Punch Man, because most of the entertainment and comedy in One Punch Man comes from seeing how characters react to Saitama's power and personality. And that's the case here in Doom. A lot of the entertainment from Doom Guy as a character comes from watching and looking at how other people react to you. However, unlike Saitama, Doom Guy can actually be beaten and outplayed because, like Saitama, Doom Guy has very simple yet vague goals. Saitama wants fulfillment in his life, and Doom Guy wants to kill demons, and this makes him very easy to predict and in some cases manipulate, since he doesn't really take into account the schemes that were plans of others. He just kills. And because of this, he was able to be imprisoned by the demons and then very conveniently woken up during the Mars demonic invasion, and then pointed into the direction of the Crucible, in which he gets outplayed by Samuel, who steals the Crucible from him, and that's the end of Doom 2016. There you go, there's the whole plot. However, that doesn't make him very easy to control, since he can't be intimidated, bribed, overpowered, sympathized, or reasoned with. And I think that's, for me, what makes Doom Guy such a great character. He's like this wild card of this universe where people try to send him back and forth between each other, and he's just like this aura of destruction, especially for the demons. And it was this combination of being able to relate to Doom Guy as a character, the game shoving you into this rhythm and pattern of gameplay, the game having this in-depth world that you can actually explore and learn about, and the game not always taking itself seriously is what made this more than just a game about running down dark, bloody walls and shooting fast, scary demons. This game taught me how to enjoy the calm, embrace the chaos when it comes, and hold my composure when it does come, and still push forward. I know I didn't talk too much about my anxiety during this video because I didn't think it'd be too interesting, but that's what it mostly was. Me preparing for an encounter, holding my composure, keeping my head clear, and then coming down from my adrenaline high. The last part of this video has been a little bit of a mess, I'm sorry, but thanks for watching.